Question: why have the Chicago Bears been doing so well in the draft? Is it polls? Is it like his eye test? Is it simply that he's a genius? He might be, but let's talk about what I do know. I know that there's two things we're going to talk through if you want to be nerds. Let's nerd out. I do know much of the success can be traced to the Bears heavily valuing something called the RAS score. And I do know that it was something the Bears weren't worried about at all until polls came into the fold. You'll be hearing a lot about the RAS scores as the draft approaches and as it's progressing. So let's talk about it now so we understand it. RAS, it stands for Relative Athletic Score. I use a lot of my shows and profiling players because it's what certain teams like the Bears, it's what they use as a main factor in pre-draft evaluation of players they're thinking of drafting. It's a brainchild of longtime Lions fan Kent Lee Platt. So we're keeping it in the NFC North family. He got tired, like we all do, of analysts constantly using terms like explosive and strong without any data at all to back it up. It's crazy. The relative part means it's comparing the player being evaluated with his peers. Instead of just taking raw, empty stats, it is rooted in comparison to other players at the position. I want to show you something. I want to show you why the hire of polls as GM, it's revolutionized our whole team organization. So if we go back, prior to the arrival of polls, Raz, it wasn't a metric heavily weighted by the Bears front staff at all. I don't think they used it at all. So under Ryan Pace, his predecessor, the Bears cumulative cumulative RAS score, sorry about that, by draft class is as follows. Let's look at the scores compared to the drafts of other teams during the tenure of Ryan Pace. This is going to be some numbers, but it's so worth it. 2021, we are 29th. 2020, we are 4th. That was a nice draft. 19, we are 29th. Another good draft in 2018, we are 3rd. 2017, we are 30th. 16, we are 21st. 15, we are 18th. So all these drafts, they were done without any use of RAS whatsoever. So the two good years in the draft, I think that was 2020 and 2018, we scored 3rd and 4th. Those seem kind of random. There's no continuity. There's no quality of drafting across the board. In those drafts, we got players that include the likes of Cole Kmet, Jalen Johnson, Darnell Mooney, Roquan, James Daniel. You remember Bilal Nichols? It's worth to see the correlation here. And you also see now polls, he has worked to sign these players that were out of good RAS drafts to long-term contracts. Komet, for one, he got a huge bargain deal. I know it seems like a lot of money, but if you look at the contract of Hawkinson with the Vikings, very good signing. I believe you'll also see Jalen Johnson get signed almost immediately after we get all this nonsense cleared away after the Green Bay game. We're also looking at when we dealt away Roquan. Another great move. We now have Gervon Dexter, who's starting to tear it up, and he is who we drafted with the pick that we got from the Roquan trade. So anyways, for fun, let's look at the players we got ignoring the RAS metric under previous regimes. This might be a little depressing, but let's look at it. Okay, Kyle Fuller, he was a hit out of this. Charles Leno, he's a top 15 left tackle who's now in Washington. I mean, those were two picks. Other than that, a lot of wasted draft capital, a lot of high picks. We got players like Ego Ferguson. He didn't even finish his rookie contract before he was out of the league. That was fun. Will Sutton, remember him? Kadeem Carey, kind of remember him. He plays in Canada now. Brock Vereen. Oh, man, just so many misses. I don't want to look at that anymore. And it's one of the reasons we become a miserable fan base, right? The media plays into this negative attitude. I mean, we can't even enjoy a win like the Arizona game, like the Atlanta game. We're just going to pick our team apart after the Green Bay game. We're going to run out players and coaches. We're going to run them out of town. We're close to doing that with Justin Fields. I hope we don't, but it might happen. I'm not going to get distracted here. Let's move forward. Let's look at this 2023 draft class. It ranked 10th overall in RAS score. Headlined by your first round pick, right? Darnell Wright. He had a 9.68 RAS score. That's almost perfect. That's out of a possible 10 points. This is the third highest of all offensive tackles that we drafted that year and highest of the first round. There wasn't consensus that Darnell Wright should be the number one tackle taken. I believe that polls use the RAS score as the decider that we should go get him. Our class's cumulative score, 8.87. That's our second highest score since 1987, with the number one being 2000. Guess who we drafted in 2000? That's Brian Urlacher. That's Mike Brown. We are swimming in rare waters here. So let's keep going. Every pick in this draft, up to the fifth round, they're showing huge promise already. This is the main reason we need patience and to keep continuity within our franchise. Uh, we also have some players to look at. We've got like Wright, we've got Dexter, we've got Stevenson, Pickens. I think Pickens is a great pick, but he hasn't seen the field that much. Look for him to splash next year. If you watch a previous show of mine, he has a great RAS score. It's in the area of explosion, and it convinces me he'll become a starter or at least a reliable rotational piece. It's going to happen. Johnson, Sewell, Terrell Smith, who was the absolute star of the fourth quarter against Arizona. You guys remember that game. He was fantastic. He was the main factor shutting down that last drive with two passes defended in the row on third and fourth down. Friends, this is a main factor. This is the main reason why our GM is so successful. He brought a front office into the modern evaluation of players out of the Stone Age. Along with that, he has a keen eye for talent, and he's also a good guardian of our salary cap. So he is someone that we can trust. Let's continue to point out the positives. Let's point them out to others and lead a charge for continuity within our franchise. Let's not listen to the talking heads. Let's not run our quarterback out of town. Let's not get rid of all of our coaching staff. We can get rid of Getsy. That's fine. But let's pursue continuity. I think this Green Bay game changes nothing. So let me know what you think. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bear down. And man, this is going to be a fantastic offseason. But if you also, to prepare for this offseason, look at things objectively. Look at the players that we've drafted. Look at the coaches that we've hired. Look at the coaches, how they have developed players. And let's move forward in a way of trusting our front office. The only mistake that I can think of Ryan Poles doing is hiring Getsy, and that's easily fixable. That's easily fixable. He did hire Flus. Is that a bad thing? Flus, actually, he has run a steady ship. He has taken a team that wasn't even close to contending anyways, a team that was the worst in the year following. We did a complete teardown. Now we're in a place that our team is actually mediocre. Mediocre. That means that loss to Green Bay, it does not mean a thing. It just hurts our pride. Let's move forward, trusting this front office. And the biggest reason that we can trust Ryan Poles is that he uses these modern metrics in every decision that he makes. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment and bear down.